Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode. I'm in a traffic jam right in Wangige market, but this is not our destination. Today I want to take you to one of the most popular village towns around. In fact, this is one of the most requested. In fact, I have tens of comments from you people asking me, why don't you visit Gikuni? I have never visited the area. This is my first time, and I'm super curious to know what goes down there, since some of you even went to the extent of calling me, and I had to give in. I'm doing this for the team. So stick around and watch until the end as I take you down the small village town that is super influenced by the Cuban Revolution of the 1950s and also the communist politics of the Eastern Europe. So stick around. But before I take you to Cuba town in a few, I have a surprise town for you. It goes by the name Ruku Township. It is a small town. I want to take you around in a few minutes, maybe in one or two, and have a quick glimpse of how people live here. It is on a beautiful Friday, 5th July 2024, and the time is about 5:40 in the evening, and the town is already packed. It is also good to know that Wangige town is not far from here. In fact, it's about 3 kilometers, and Nairobi city is about 23 kilometers from here. And so we are not very far from the hustles and bustles of the city. But we already have a village ambience. How nice. I can see patrons are already turning up in the club. This one in front of me, it's probably the biggest club in town. There's another one next to it. It seems like the weekend mood is on. I can see a couple of patriots right in front, and they are flagging me down. Probably they want to say hello. And why not? That was a nice one. For those who did not understand the local dialect, the guy told me that he thought I was one Kungu, who according to him is a teacher by profession. So shout out to one teacher Kungu, though I don't know him. But it seems like this is the happiest small town in this side of the world. I have also noted the guy in green apron right in front is relating very well with kids. Just take a look. The guy is having a good time. That's enough for the bonus small town. It has a population of 9,009 people. 4,673 are men, while 4,906 are women. In terms of population density, there are 3,282 people living in a square kilometer. Now we go to our main town of the day. In fact, we'll be getting there in about 2 minutes. You can see a beautiful civilization down there. And so we want to see how the people live before we hit the town center. And one thing that I want you to note before we get there is that this place is the biggest producer of horticulture products in Kenya. So probably the vegetables that you'll have for dinner tonight, especially if you live around Nairobi, come from this area. And another thing that I have noted for the few minutes I've been in town is that the village has a lot of women. Just take a look, especially on my right. There's a lot of motherly faces. I'm not quite sure whether it is always like that, but it's quite a beautiful picture. You know, mothers oozes the aura of care, love, nurturing, and even creation. And so shout out to all women who are watching wherever you are. Just know that you are so special, and Mr. Lone Traveler appreciate. In fact, it is good to know that 80% of those people who watch my content are men. Can you believe that? So thanks to the 20%. In fact, someday I'll show you the statistics from my side. I have them. And still on that, another interesting thing about those people who watch this channel is that most of them are old-timers. The median age group is between 25 and 55. We also have a considerable number of people aged 60 and above. So thanks for the love. That was a side note. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to Gikuni town, which is also nicknamed as Cuba. I will also be telling you more about that, but foremost, let's go around town and see what's up. I hope you have already noted the high number of people. It's quite fascinating being a rural village town. In fact, this is quite interior. You cannot get here unless you want to get here. And so what I'm trying to say is that there's no major highway that passes nearby, meaning that almost everyone you see in this town is probably a local. The buildings look a bit old, which is a common case in most small towns in rural Kenya, but they are quite busy. Businesses are thriving. So far, I've not seen a vacant shop, which is quite amazing. I have also noted the high number of men in the small town, but it's understandable. I told you it's on a Friday, and right now it's about 6 p.m. We are facing the beautiful sunset right here in Africa, although it is affecting the quality of our video. But I'll be turning around in less than a minute and probably have some of the best shots. It is also good to remind you that this is Kabete constituency, one of the 12 constituencies in Kiambu County. Last week, I visited Gatundu, and to be specific, I visited Ichaweri town, which is one town that has produced 2 presidents in the Republic of Kenya. And that is President Jomo Kenyatta the Senior and Uhuru Kenyatta, his son. The video is on. It is on this channel. So if you did not have a chance to watch, kindly make sure you do so after watching this one. At this moment, I want to turn around and visit the other parts of the town. It's quite a big one. And so far so good. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It has become a bit unusual to see thriving small village town, especially during these hard economic times. The town goes by the name Gikuni, which I'm not quite sure about its meaning. So if you are local or you know something about it, you can tell us down on the comment section below. But history goes that it was started right in the 1950s, when most of the South American and Caribbean countries were experiencing a lot of revolutions. Well, hold that thought for a second. I have spotted a donkey right in front, carrying jerry cans of water, and that tells you something about this town, quite important, which is that getting fresh water in this town might be a major problem. Now back to the Caribbean political crisis, and it is said that in 1952, Cuba experienced one of the biggest revolutions in the world, which overturned the ruling of one dictator, Fulgencio Batista. And in 1956, one guy by the name Fidel Castro, his brother Raul, and another guy by the name Che Guevara entered the country from Mexico and took over the government. This elicited excitement across the world, especially in Africa. And remember, here we are still under the colonial government. And one village that was super excited by this is Gikuni. And this resulted to the adaptation of the name Cuba, which still holds up to now. This place is called Cuba. And remember, by then, the Mau Mau War was on. And this village, being part of the Mount Kenya region where the war was intensified, Cuba was seen as a good role model. Well, I'm not quite sure whether this was the real reason behind the name. You know, sometimes getting information about these small towns is quite hectic. You can't just Google and find it online. And so we are forced to talk to people and rely on the word of the mouth, which is not quite reliable, and different versions might exist. And so if you are there and you know the source of the name, Cuba in Gikuni, or better if you come from this area, you can educate us down on the comment section below. Just feel free, and you can also leave a comment or two about your village. I can see the police station and the chief office right ahead. It is on my right, and that tells you that the security in the town is well organized. The close proximity of the police station to the town is quite fascinating. In fact, the police station is right in the town, meaning that security is a priority for the village dwellers. I have also noted that most roads around the town are tarmacked, which is also an added advantage. But don't get it twisted, these tarmacs are not that old. In fact, I'm told that most of them are not even 10 years old. And you can see that modern story buildings are coming up very fast, and that is courtesy of beautiful roads. And that takes us straight to the real estate segment right before I give you the numbers, which are quite interesting, I must say that. And so stick around for some few minutes. We have a lot of interesting statistics about this area. And one of them is the highest level of education attained by most people in this area. And that is according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics. So stay tuned. But first, let's check the real estate question. It is good to know that the land prices has really shot up, especially during the last 10 years after the completion of this road, which connects Kiambu Town in Limuru and the Western Bypass. And I saw an advert for a piece of land in this area, a 50 by 100 to be precise, which is an eighth of an acre, going for 5.5 million Kenya shillings, and another one of the same size, going for about 6.5 million Kenya shillings. Well, that's give you a price range of the land in this area. Remember, the price depends on a few things, including the distance from the town or the tarmac, and the type of soil, and of course your negotiation skills. But remember, that is the land prices in the village, not in this small town. A plot in the town can be a bit expensive as it has a commercial value, and I'm told that it can go up to 10 million Kenya shillings. It is also good to know that a good number of people here don't own homes. They prefer to rent, especially due to the close proximity of Cuba to Wangige and Nairobi town. And so you can prefer to live here and work in the city. And to rent a 2-bedroom apartment with 12,000 Kenya shilling, you can get a beautiful one, which is about $100 per month. And to get a 1-bedroom apartment, you need between 8,000 and 10,000 Kenya shillings, which is about $75 per month. While a good studio apartment or a bed sitter, you can get it with 5,000 Kenya shillings, which is approximately $35 a month. In terms of the public transport service, it is not that bad. I'm told that there are matatus plying from here to Wangige town. You can also get plenty of them at Wangige that goes to Nairobi city, making it a cool place to live. Also note that this is a village town, so food is in plenty, especially vegetables, so the cost of living is a bit low, especially when compared to other areas in Nairobi and the lower part of Kiambu County. And remember, I told you that the Western Bypass is not far from here. In fact, I'll be going there later in the video. It's about 3 kilometers from here. And there are also plenty of social amenities, including schools and public hospitals, making it a cool place to live in, especially if you live around Nairobi. And a piece of free advice, especially if you're just starting life around Nairobi, Cuba is one of the places that should be in your bucket list. In fact, I'm told that you can get a small iron sheet building for up to 3,000 Kenya shillings, which is quite affordable a month. Now let's check other statistics, and I want to give you the numbers about the larger Kabete constituency, which has Wangige as 8th capital, not far from here of course, about 4 kilometers from this town. And the entire constituency has a total population of 189,653 people. And in 2009, the population was about 140,000, meaning that there was an increase of about 60,000 people in about 10 years. And in terms of population density, the constituency has 3,289 people living in a square kilometer, while the annual population change is 3.6% per year. Also, let me give you the numbers about this specific area before we go back to the larger sub-county level. And this town is in a sub-location that is called Kirangari, which has a total population of 12,062 people. 5,974 are males, while 6,077 are females. You can see the gender gap is not that big. About the population density, there are 2,595 people living in a square kilometer. Another fact I have noted about the numbers is that the village gender gap does not differ significantly from that of the constituency. As out of the 200,000 people living in Kabete constituency, 97,794 are men, which is about 49% of the entire population, while women account for 51% of the total population. The exact number is 101,000. For the intersex, there are only 14 in the entire constituency. Well, I want to ask for some direction to Kirangari High School. Mambo? Oh ya, nyaje? Ini nenda Kirangari? Ini nendanga Kirangari? Sawa. There are so many tarmacked roads around the town, as I told you earlier, and sometimes you don't know which to take, so you might get lost quite easily. And I want to go toward the Nairobi Western Bypass, and the brother has just assisted me. And for the friends who do not understand Swahili, which is the national language in the country, I asked the guy to direct me towards Kirangari High School, which is a boys' boarding school that is just next to the Western Bypass. And speaking of Kirangari High School, last month I did a comprehensive video about the area, and we got a chance to enter the school. And I must say that I got a lot of love from the old boys, especially on the comment section, and others went to the extent of calling me. And so if you missed the video, you can go to this channel and search about Nyaduna, which is the administrative ward name given to this area. Now back to the statistics, and let's check the age distribution in this area. And to start with, a majority of people are aged between 15 and 64, with the exact number being 132,671, while those aged 65 and above are 6,942. This is 3.6% of the entire population, meaning that the aged population is a bit low, while the median age is the age group between 20 and 29, which are 44,333 people. Another piece of statistics that I want to check on this constituency is on the highest level of education attained by most people here. And I'm told that about 15,827 have university degrees, while 25,710 have middle-level college diplomas, while 59,559 have secondary school diplomas. Another piece of statistics that I found to be quite interesting about this place is on the number of people on the labor force. And out of the 200,000 people in Kapete constituency, 93,682 are working, while 14,276 are seeking work, or we can say they are jobless. Guys, as you can see, I'm approaching the Western Bypass, the Nairobi Western Bypass. And just like the bike rider ahead of me, I've just decided to drive on the wrong way to join the highway. Since if I decide to take the right way, it will take me about 2 kilometers to go around. And being a Friday, today I'm on my worst behaviors. Well, let me leave you at that. Of course, I'll be extra careful when joining the highway. But please watch the scenic video until the end. Also show some love by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Also like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible, and smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. Also special thanks to Team Village to Town TV, the special people who watch and like all the video. May God bless you. And for those who have the capacity and in our position to support us, the phone number is on the screen. You can send something, you can call us, you can also request us to visit your village town. Just feel free. Also keep the conversation going. Tell us what do you think about today's video. Will you consider living in Cuba? Thank you.